Hello Army! Welcome back to Zone Taekook channel. The stage lights had gone out, the thunder of music had faded, and the sea of army that filled Goyang Stadium slowly dispersed, their hearts still brimming with euphoria. Yet behind the end of that grand concert, a simple moment became a new highlight, one that didn't happen on stage, but in a far quieter, warmer, and more genuine corner. A few hours after BTS's second-day concert on April 11, 2026 officially ended, a short video began circulating on Instagram. It wasn't from official media, nor was it a high-resolution fan cam from inside the stadium. On the contrary, it looked simple, recorded spontaneously by a fan who happened to be in the same place. But it was precisely what the video contained that made it so special. In the short clip, Kim Taehyung could be seen standing casually in front of a restaurant in the Ilsan area, just minutes away from the concert venue. There were no stage lights, no grand set, and no roaring crowd. Instead, there was a calm night atmosphere, light conversation, and laughter that sounded genuinely sincere. What drew the most attention was that he wasn't alone. Around him were his closest friends from the Wooga Squad, including Park Seo-joon and Choi Woo-shik. They stood close together, chatting casually and occasionally laughing, as if it were just another ordinary night for a group of friends spending time together. The contrast with what had happened inside the stadium just hours earlier felt striking. On stage, Taehyung had appeared as a global star, captivating tens of thousands with his charisma. But in front of that restaurant, he returned to being simply Taehyung. He wore casual clothes, his hair no longer perfectly styled like during the performance, and his expression was far more relaxed. There was no pressure to be perfect, only comfort. The fan recording the moment seemed fully aware that they were witnessing something rare. Without getting too close, they filmed from a distance, capturing the natural interactions between Taehyung and his friends. It didn't take long for the video to be uploaded to Instagram Reels and spread widely. Within hours, the view count surged, likes reached hundreds of thousands, comments flooded in by the thousands, and the video was reshared by various international fan accounts. But what made it different wasn't just the numbers. It was the nature of the comments that accompanied it. Most ARMY didn't just focus on who appeared in the video, but on the feeling it conveyed. "He looks so comfortable," one comment read. "This is the real Tae, not just the one on stage," another wrote. "Seeing him laugh like this feels like a gift after the concert," added another fan. These reactions showed that for many people, this wasn't just a celebrity sighting. It was a portrait of a real connection. One not created for cameras, not packaged for public consumption, yet still deeply felt even through a screen. There was one small moment in the video that caught a lot of attention. Taehyung was seen patting Park Seo-joon on the shoulder while laughing, then slightly bowing when Choi Woo-shik said something that made the whole group burst into laughter. The gesture felt so familiar, like the kind of interaction shared between longtime friends. There was nothing staged, no distance, no formality, and that's exactly where its strength lay. The Wooga Squad has long been known as one of the most solid friendship circles in the Korean entertainment world. But seeing them together in a setting like this, after a major concert, outside any official schedule, in such a relaxed atmosphere, offered a much deeper perspective. This wasn't just friendship on screen or in interviews. This was a relationship that truly lives. Many fans connected this moment to Taehyung's earlier performance at the concert. Some even suggested that the cheerful energy he showed on stage might have been influenced by the presence of his friends in the same city. And after seeing how he spent time with them afterward, that assumption felt even more plausible. There was a clear emotional continuity from the grand stage of Goyang Stadium to a simple sidewalk in Ilsan. From the cheers of tens of thousands of ARMY to soft laughter among close friends. Taehyung stood between those two worlds and seemed at ease in both. This phenomenon also caught the attention of Korean entertainment media, which began highlighting the story as one of the warmest after-stories from BTS's Goyang concert, not because of drama or controversy, but because of its rare simplicity. In an industry often filled with glamour and high pressure, seeing a global artist enjoy such a small moment felt refreshing. More than that, it served as a reminder that behind packed schedules, global expectations, and constant spotlight, there are the same human needs, the need to feel close, comfortable, and accepted as one is. For Taehyung, that need seems fulfilled within a small circle called the Wooga Squad. Interestingly, ARMY's reaction to this video also reflected the growing maturity of the fandom. Rather than digging for excessive details or invading privacy, most fans chose to appreciate the moment as it was. They didn't focus on the exact restaurant location or try to identify personal details. Instead, they celebrated the happiness visible in the video. It created a warm digital space, a place where thousands of people from different countries came together to feel the same thing. Happiness in seeing someone they admire genuinely happy. That moment in front of the restaurant may have lasted only a few minutes. There was no background music, no dramatic lighting, no planned choreography. Yet its impact went far beyond its duration. It became a symbol that behind every grand performance, there is a small life that may be even more meaningful. A symbol that behind every camera spotlight, there are relationships not always visible but still strong. And a symbol that a global star like Kim Taehyung still has a place to return to. A place where he doesn't have to be anyone but himself. If the concert in Goyang was about performance, then this moment was about feeling. If the stage showed who Taehyung is as an artist, then the sidewalk in Ilsan that night showed who he is as a human being. And perhaps for many people, that is the side that lingers the most. Because in the end, what truly makes someone shine isn't just talent or achievement, but the relationships they maintain along the way. That night may be remembered for the stage performances, iconic songs, and viral moments inside the stadium. But thanks to a simple Instagram video, the story left behind became far more personal. About a man who, after making tens of thousands of people cheer, chose to spend his night laughing with his friends. About a friendship that remains unchanged despite time and success. And about a warmth that doesn't need a stage to shine. In Ilsan, just minutes from Goyang Stadium, Kim Taehyung was no longer standing as a star before the world. He stood as a friend, and there, in that simplicity, he shone in the most sincere way. In the end, that brief moment in front of a restaurant in Ilsan became more than just a viral video. It wasn't merely an entertaining clip, but a warm reminder of the human side of Kim Taehyung. A side not always visible on grand stages like Goyang Stadium. Amid the glittering entertainment world that often feels distant and untouchable, his togetherness with the Wooga Squad brought something simple yet deeply meaningful. Soft laughter, casual conversations, and warmth without formality became proof that behind his status as a global star, he is still someone who values closeness, comfort, and the meaning of home. For ARMY, this moment was not only something to remember, but something to feel. A sense that their idol's happiness is real, not only under the spotlight, but also among people who know him beyond the stage. And perhaps that is where the true meaning lies. That in a world moving so fast, full of demands and expectations, the simplest things become the most valuable. That behind every spotlight, there is a small space that holds sincerity. And that in the end, it's not just about who shines the brightest, but about who remains laughing together after all the lights have gone out. And long after the cheers have faded and the crowds have gone home, it is these quiet, unguarded moments that stay with people the longest. Not the perfectly timed performances or the dazzling lights, but the laughter shared without expectation, the presence of those who matter most, and the comfort of simply being oneself. In that small corner of Ilsan, far from the noise of the stage, a different kind of memory was created, one that doesn't need amplification to be heard, because its meaning is already deeply felt. Perhaps that is why the video resonated so strongly across the world. It reminded people that behind the image of perfection often seen on screen, there is a life filled with ordinary yet meaningful moments. Moments that don't seek attention, yet naturally draw it because of their sincerity. And in witnessing that, fans were not just watching Kim Taehyung the artist, they were quietly connecting with Taehyung the person. In the end, nothing extraordinary seemed to happen in that video. No grand gestures, no dramatic scenes. Just a group of friends standing together, talking and laughing under the night sky. But sometimes, it is precisely in that simplicity where the most powerful stories are found. And as time goes on, moments like these often grow even more meaningful. Not because they change, but because the way people remember them deepens. What was once just a short clip on social media slowly turns into a lasting impression. One that fans revisit, not for excitement, but for comfort. There is something quietly reassuring about seeing a global star step away from the spotlight and blend into an ordinary night. It breaks the invisible distance that often exists between public figures and the people who admire them. In that brief scene, the boundaries felt softer, more human, more real. For many, it also became a gentle reminder that success does not replace the need for genuine connection. No matter how high someone rises, there is always a part of them that seeks familiarity, warmth, and the presence of those who knew them before everything changed. And perhaps that is what makes friendships like the Wooga Squad so special. They are not built on fame, but on time, trust, and shared experiences. In a world that constantly moves forward, chasing bigger stages and brighter lights, this moment stood still. It didn't try to impress, didn't try to go viral, and yet it did because authenticity has a way of reaching people without effort. Maybe that is why, even after countless performances and unforgettable stages, this quiet night in Ilsan continues to linger in the hearts of many. Not as a highlight of a concert, but as a glimpse into something more enduring. A life beyond the spotlight, where laughter is unfiltered, friendships remain steady, and happiness exists in its simplest form.